So the EMEDS is basically a tent hospital. It has clinic capability for almost anything you can imagine. The medics are tailoring it specifically to this response effort to help support both the hospital here on Navy Base Guam and whatever potential other issues come up.
Right now we're just putting up tents. It's definitely awesome to know that we're going to impact anywhere from 350 to 1,000 people in one sitting, so it's pretty awesome.
Everybody was super excited to come do this. They had to turn people away because we had too many volunteers to come out here and help do setup. The guys are super excited to get out here and really get their hands busy helping the effort, right? We're an expeditionary unit, so we're ready to go at a moment's notice, and this was our time to go do what we do.
Right now is we have gathered the Marines and the Navy teams together to offload the Expeditionary Medical Facility here in Guam. This EMF is going to be able to provide more medical services to Guam Island. So now we have opened up another 150 beds with ICU units in order to treat possible COVID cases and ensure that those people are getting the proper medical treatment that they need.
What we've done here in the last week with almost no planning and almost no prior coordination has been almost instantaneous. The Navy and the Marine Corps came together, multiple units, in less than a week to make this mission happen. And our coordination, our communication, everything has been so synced up that I don't personally believe that this could have happened without the communication that we constantly build in our training day to day.
The teams have been motivated. We've had to do a lot of maneuvering, making a lot of extra movements, but the team has been phenomenal. Their spirits are up. They know they're working with the purpose. We actually just offloaded our last TEU this morning, so the EMF is completely offloaded of this ship on time as we had planned, and we are just ready to keep going. I mean, in their hearts, they know they're doing exactly what we've been called to do.
It was certainly a challenge up front to be able to understand the Theodore Roosevelt and her needs and the needs of her crew. But once we understood what we needed to do, it really, to me, made me very proud to be able to see how quickly all of the sailors from many different commands immediately understood purpose, and they understood end state, and they started figuring out on their own what it would take to be able to take care of the TR and her sailors. And they really fell in quickly. It was very difficult to not find volunteers to jump on anything that we needed them to jump on from many different commands within the expeditionary community. I will also tell you that there was a lot of immediate planning that needed to take place. It's out of what would be traditional skill sets for many of the sailors, but it showed you the adaptive, flexible, and resilient nature of the sailors throughout the task force, all of the different forces and commands, and how well they can adapt to whatever need is at hand. I will also say that it's a lot more than just Task Force 75 for sure. It absolutely has been a sailor and Marine team, as well as civilian as well. If you look at all the different commands that came together, we had Marines coming down from Okinawa whom we had never met before, some of them. Others we had worked with before in previous exercises and operations, but some we had never met with. And we fell in together within a matter of, I'd say days, but really hours, put together a plan, figured it out, and executed it. And that was both the Navy and Marine Corps team as well as the civilian Mariner team side by side. So when I was able to address the sailors and the Marines and our civilian counterparts that were there on the pier before the offload of the Expeditionary Medical Facility commenced, I'll be honest, I could really feel the energy. Once we had talked about the purpose and they understood the mission, it's a very noble mission to be able to offload this medical facility and be able to move it to its site and be able to establish it in a very short amount of time to be able to save lives if called upon. So a very noble mission, and I do know that the troops understood that purpose and really seized it. I could really see it in their faces, and afterwards, listening to them talk about it was absolutely revealing on how much they get it. and how much they can do when they understand the purpose and just turn to. I will also say that from a combat operations or a wartime standpoint, this is exactly what we would be expected to and called upon to do in war. And so anytime we can, during exercises, make it that much realistic for what we'll have to do during contingencies or have to do during wartime, it's important so that we can fall together quickly in with the ranks with each other. So again, the Marines, the sailors, and the civilian mariners work the plan, understand the mission, and move out to execute it. And that's exactly what's happened here. It's been really impressive to watch everybody work together on the ship, on the pier, on the roads, and all the way up to the build site as well. I definitely try to do battlefield circulation as much as I can, just to understand conditions out in the field, understand what the sailors and the Marines are thinking, what they're feeling, answer their questions and impart upon them purpose and also recognition for their efforts. So those are very important to do. I will say that over the last few days I've been able to get around to be able to talk to them. And just yesterday I was talking to a young equipment operator. He's on his 3rd deployment, Seabees, and he was working grading operations to finish grading and then compaction of the EMF site where they're doing the site preparations right now. And he was willing to work as many hours as he could possibly squeeze into the day to get it done because he understood it. And he said this was a wonderful way, an awesome way for him to be able to close out his deployment here. I also got to see another sailor that was about to lead his team out to embark a ship on another mission, and they had prepared for that mission through their preparations or their quarantine to ensure they were clean. And he talked about specifically how the unit of force had prepared as a team, really cohesive team, to be able to prepare for the mission. And it wasn't even a second thought about COVID-19 or having to do quarantine. They understood why, they understand the purpose behind it, and they really, I could tell, were very motivated to move out on the mission after finishing their preparations. And even other sailors that I met that were out in town helping the efforts out there in support of the region and the base. And they were delivering meals to sailors for the TR. Met a sailor out in town, completely out of his skill set, that was delivering food and conducting welfare checks on sailors that were out in the hotels. And I asked him how the crew of the TR was doing, and he said they were doing very well, and that they were communicating back and forth via notes and other means or on the phone, and that the sailors of the TR had expressed the gratitude that they knew that these sailors were really turning to help them out and make sure they were taken care of in the hotel. And then the sailor I talked to, I could tell he was very proud. And I said, well, I know this isn't in your rating set. This isn't what your platoon usually does. This isn't what you're trained to do. And he said, I'm just happy to be part of the effort and to be able to take care of my fellow sailors. And so that just kind of talks to that team camaraderie, that camaraderie or that spirit that they have to understand when another sailor needs something. It's kind of like if you're on a battlefield. You know, if somebody goes down, you never leave somebody on the battlefield, ever, right? And I could just tell that same kind of combat mindset and warrior spirit for this sailor and all of the sailors that I've seen throughout the Expeditionary Force. It's that combat mindset and that warrior sense where if they see an objective that needs to be accomplished, they understand it and they'll figure it out and they'll get it done. If they've got a fellow sailor that goes down on the battlefield, they're going to be there for him, they're going to take care of him, they're going to get him back to the corpsman for assistance. And I could just see that throughout the entire Expeditionary Force. And it just really reassures me that we've got a very capable military, and that's not just the Navy, but also the Marines and our civilian counterparts, whether they're working on the port or whether they're working on the ship right next to us. And so for me, that certainly is a good amount of confirmation of our readiness to work together in whatever contingency, peacetime or war, as well as it just gives me absolute sense of pride to stand in the phalanx alongside them. So I would tell you that I wouldn't call it a silver lining. I'd say the whole thing is silver. And the reason why is because, first off, we have a noble purpose. And by that I mean whether it's taking care of the sailors from the TR or whether it's pivoting to defense support for civil authorities to be able to take care of the people of Guam. So first and foremost, a noble purpose is awesome. Anytime you have a noble purpose, you're going to lean in 110%. You're going to give until the gas tank is empty, and you're going to keep going forward. The second thing is it allows us to gives us a chance to be able to practice falling in just as we would in combat operations as a Navy and Marine Corps and civilian mariner team. And the opportunity to do this, although the occasion is unfortunate, dealing with COVID-19, it gives me assurance that we can do exactly what we need to do in wartime as we are trained and as we are brought up to be able to do. The third, I would tell you, is it really gives us a sense of team to be able to do these contingency operations in such a short amount of time with little to no preparation, to fall in so quickly together in ranks and move out as a cohesive unit of force and get it done in the tight timelines that we've been given ahead of schedule. It really is awesome. So I would tell the troops and the families on Guam that I am so very proud, and they should be very proud of everything that is going on out here to do this mission and to both first address TR's needs and then second to be able to address the people of Guam's needs. I can tell you that I am no prouder than right now of everything that's going on this island. It just continues to impress me day for day, hour for hour, as the reports come in, as I'm able to go out and talk to the sailors and the Marines and the civilian mariners. It is just phenomenal. And so for those that, the forces that are out there that are getting it done, to you, I would absolutely say to them, I would absolutely say that they need to be very proud. They must be, absolutely should be very proud of their efforts. And for their families that are at home, they absolutely should be the same.